TV made Dan a rocket belt pilot, and he's preparing for the most challenging flight of his career.
If they launch one of those things by mistake and it hits me, it's going to be like a surface-to-air missile.
Welcome to another episode of Rocketman TV. My name is Dan Schlund. I'm the Rocketman. On this episode, we go south of the border to Mexicali, Mexico for the Caribbean World Series, and we're not going alone. We brought a film crew with us from TV Made Me Do It to highlight this event. This YouTube channel is dedicated to documenting my past flights and bring you along as we get this jetpack up and flying again. The goal to flying again is refurbishing the rocket belt, procuring fuel, and me losing weight. Subscribe to this channel and follow me as I reach these goals. The funnest part of this channel is to go back in time, relive some of my past flights, and you get a behind the scenes look that no one's seen of these adventures. So here we go.
Like a real-life superhero, Texas native Dan Schlund has an alter ego.
So fly around that one. That'd probably make the neighbors happy.
Dan's neighbors need to have a great deal of patience and earplugs. He regularly flies over their house. TV made Dan a real-life rocket man.
The rocket belt generates 800 horsepower. That's the same as an IndyCar racer. The feeling is incredible. It's like a dream come true.
Pretty cool, huh?
It's a crazy way to make a living, but that suits Dan just fine. A former stuntman, Dan and his flight crew, Sid Goodlow and Shannon Gibson, traveled the world performing flights like this in front of thousands of astonished spectators.
You can't help but to have an alter ego when you strap on that rocket belt. There's something just changes, and then all of a sudden I become Rocket Man. It's a different part of me. It's the childhood part of me.
As a child, Dan always dreamed of flying, just like they do on TV.
The first time I saw the rocket belt was on Lost in Space. And the father, he takes off and he goes and he finds his daughter. And the daughter hops on the back and he flies her back because she got lost.
Rocket belts aren't merely TV-inspired science fiction. The U.S. military invented them in the early 1960s, but the idea never really got off the ground. They're propelled by superheated steam and can only remain in the air for about 30 seconds.
Once I realized that, this isn't a special effect, this is something real, okay, now that's pretty cool. That's where it really starts, wheels start to turn in your mind, and you lay in bed and you dream about it. Okay, if I had one, what would I do?
Dan seized his opportunity in 2000 when he met a rocket belt pilot about to retire. Dan is now one of only 11 people in the world who can fly a rocket belt. In fact, more people have traveled to the moon than flown one of these.
My numbers may be off a little, but there were 8 original Bell pilots, including the late Harold Graham and Bill Suter, who flew at the 1984 opening ceremonies for the Olympics in Los Angeles. It wasn't until Kenny Gibson came along and created the Rocketman persona to what it is today. He trained another pilot before me. His name was Eric Scott, who is probably the best rocket belt pilot I've ever seen. And about 10 years later, he trained me. The majority of rocket belt flights you see on YouTube is a combination of Eric and I. Now, once I get this thing up and flying, I plan to bring Eric back into mix, and we're going to start doing public performances again.
In Texas, Dan is getting ready for one of the most challenging flights of his career. The Rocketman will headline the opening ceremonies of the Caribbean World Series in Mexico.
What makes this one more difficult is that I've got to fly unusually long distance. I have to fly a little bit higher than normal in 30 seconds without landing on any of their pyro.
Can the Rocketman land the most complicated flight of his career? It's T-minus 24 hours and counting.
Does this rocket belt make my butt look big?
TV made Dan Schlund a rocket belt pilot. Dan and his crew have arrived in Mexicali, Mexico, where the Rocketman will blast off in front of 15,000 spectators and millions of TV viewers for the opening of the Caribbean World Series. The event liaison, Marco Sands, is showing them the stadium.
Well, we're gonna kind of take off where the altar is.
from second base and then take off, fly up, and there's going to be a ceremonial flame above that blue background. Fly up around that and then head back. The difficult thing is that this is a very long, straight flight.
Dan needs to complete all this in less than 30 seconds when he runs out of fuel and drops from the sky. And if that isn't enough, fireworks will be set off as Dan flies.
So the pyro line is going to be where the sprinkles are, right?
Yeah.
So can you land here?
You're only as good as your last rocket belt flight. And there's a lot at stake when you fly in a performance because everyone's got a camera. So if you have a bad flight, that's going worldwide.
In Mexico, the mood has also turned more serious for Dan.
What they're doing is doing a pyro test for everyone to see what it looks like. But this is the stuff that I'm going to be landing next to. If they launch one of those things by mistake and it hits me, it's going to be like a surface-to-air missile.
Inside the stadium, there's more good news.
Houston, we have a problem.
Okay.
Let's get everything off of here and let's take a look at
Watch out, I got fuel in here.
During transport, a small pin broke off one of the rocket belt's steering controls.
This is the difference between life and death. If this had come out during flights, I would have absolutely no control. When something like this happens, it puts doubt in my mind, and it's the doubt that makes it harder to put it on there. And it's the doubt that makes it harder to strap it on and fly with confidence.
Okay, hey, Marco,
Yeah, we gotta find a welder.
is there anyone here who, with a welding kit, who can weld? Is it possible to get them here now?
Dan has a rehearsal flight in just a few hours. Has the Rocketman been grounded?
It's not uncommon to catch little repairs and things that happen during transport. It happens more than you think, but not usually this bad. Before every flight, we do an extensive safety check of the equipment, and we even do a test hop and fly it for just a few seconds to make sure everything's working properly. A test hop will assure that the propellant is in good order and the mechanics feel right. If I can fly for 10 seconds 10 feet off the ground, it'll fly 30 seconds 100 feet off the ground with no issues. And the most commonly asked question I get is how far up can I go? And I can tell you on several occasions I've been well over 100 feet. But I can tell you this much, for the future, I think I'm not going to fly it that high.
TV made Dan Schlund strap a rocket belt to his back. He's one of 11 people in the world that can fly one. Dan is in Mexico to perform in the Caribbean World Series. His flight crew and a local welder are putting the finishing touches on a repair to his $500,000 rocket belt.
Even though he doesn't have experience working on rockets, he knows how to weld. And this is more weld science than rocket science, so.
Dan needs to have complete confidence in this repair. He's suiting up for a rehearsal flight, the last flight before his performance. Flying a rocket belt is an incredibly dangerous job, a job that's left an indelible mark on Dan.
It's not, just blunt trauma, but it's also getting burned. I can't feel any of this. This is all numb. It's just...
During his third training flight, Dan landed hard and fell over. His thrusters jammed forward, scorching his leg with steam propellant. Dan spent a month in the hospital.
I don't like to talk about my injuries before flight because then it messes up my head, and I just want to be focused on the positive, keep positive images going into my head. The worst part about having a camera crew is that they always want you to vocalize every emotion and every thought for the audience, and that just feeds into your anxiety even more. I didn't know how bad my anxiety was until several years later when I stopped flying, and it took me several years to deal with the PTSD and to heal my mind. As I move closer to strapping this thing on, I feel more confident that I have defeated those demons, but time will tell. And if the anxiety gets the best of me, well, the rocket belt will make a beautiful centerpiece in my new house or museum.
In Mexicali, performers for the opening of the Caribbean World Series have arrived for the final rehearsal.
I'm just gonna flash you on the floor or over there, just to tell you, okay, you're good to go. Just in case we...
Now, it's very important to know, if you accidentally turn on that flashlight, I'm flying.
Dan has to take off from second base, circle around a ceremonial flame, and land in 30 seconds when he runs out of fuel. He gets the height, but doesn't make it round the ceremonial flame.
Look at how hot those pipes get. They're glowing red because of the heat from the rocket motor. Now this is normal. At the hottest point, those tubes will reach 1600 degrees Fahrenheit. I tried flying in a t-shirt once and I couldn't get the jetpack off my back fast enough because it was like standing too close to a campfire. In fact, if you look at most of my flight suits, they have small burns on the sleeves from accidentally touching it to the jetavators. Normally, I wear Nomex underwear and the flight suit is also Nomex, so during flight, after flight, I don't feel a thing.
Didn't feel comfortable.
Huh?
Intuition.
It's good for you?
Yeah, I just wanted to see what it looked like for my landing.
Okay.
So I just made a executive decision up there in the air just to...
Fantastic. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
The weld was a little bit on my mind because the controls were stiffer as I was flying, so I could still control it, but it just felt stiff. And let me gather my thoughts. Kind of speechless right now.
Tomorrow is showtime. Dan's reputation and life are in the balance.
A quick commercial break. If you like this video, please subscribe to this channel, and if you also click that bell icon, it will notify you every time I upload a new video. Now back to the show.
TV made Dan Schlund a rocket belt pilot. At the Caribbean World Series, Dan will open the event with one of the longest flights of his career. He has only 30 seconds to pull it off before he runs out of fuel and drops from the sky like a human lawn dart.
All right, this is what it comes down to, moment of truth. Once it comes down to flight time, it's all in my head. I've got a point. And I was sitting there thinking about my flight, feeling really comfortable about it. So I'm pumped. Let's get it going.
In Mexico, the opening ceremony performance is almost over. Dan is anxiously waiting for his cue. He has 30 seconds from takeoff to circle the ceremonial flame and land.
Now that's what Rocketman's all about. Rocketman!
This was a very fun flight and an adventurous journey. No two flights are the same. And a special thank you to TV Made Me Do It for coming down and filming us. Thank you for watching. See you next time, and God bless.